This brother I have in the studio made history this week. Yeah. If you listen to Joy FM, you know how much we love Labadi Beach Hotel. In fact, every Friday we pitch camp at the Lagoon Bar in Labadi Beach Hotel as DJ Black brings a live broadcast of his Friday night show, The Weekend Warmer. For us, it's not just the great welcoming ambience and beautiful ambience of the hotel. No, it's not also just the great food from Chef Gary Lane and his team in the kitchen. Neither is it the beautifully laid out rooms with the awesome view of the ocean and the gym and the swimming pool and the sports facilities. Tell you what, it's all of these things I've mentioned, plus the professional and dedicated team, the warm staff, and the efficiency with which they attend to their guests. Yeah. Now, this team is led by a very hard-working man who has dedicated over 30 years of his life to the hospitality industry. He's steering the management and strategic direction of Ghana's premier five-star hotel, Labadi Beach Hotel. Interestingly, his story is one of rising through the ranks, especially at Labadi Beach Hotel. I mean, he's held various key positions: hotel manager, executive assistant manager, head of sales and marketing, house manager, guest relations manager, front office shift leader, night auditor. I mean, he literally knows the ins and outs of the hotel and its operations. His diverse experience, which has provided him a comprehensive understanding of the different aspects of hotel operations. He's worked with Metropole Hotels UK, Lonro Africa Hotels, and Legacy Hotels and Resorts in South Africa. Now listen, he's the first ever Ghanaian managing director of a five-star hotel in Ghana. Did you hear that? He's the first ever Ghanaian managing director of a five-star hotel in Ghana. A proud Bloby. And I know that Accra Academy students are proud of him as well. Look, he's certainly a man who loves his job, because he's always present when DJ Black is on with the weekend warmer late at night. And I'm assuming that he should have closed at like 5 p.m. like, everybody does, But you see him in there helping guests into the Lagoon Bar whilst intermittently breaking some wild dance moves on the dance floor. Charlie, look, he's a great man. Mr. David Eduaful, the managing director of Labadi Beach Hotel, is my guest of Personality Profile. Chairman, welcome.
Thank you, Lexis.
Really good to see you today.
Good to see you too.
In a very different atmosphere, right?
I know.
would often be seeing you in a Labadi Beach Hotel, Lagoon Bar, showing your dance moves and all.
Oh my God! Don't tell them yet.
I didn't tell them
they
yet.
have to come and see for themselves. So yeah, I'm inviting them tomorrow. They should come to the Lagoon Bar.
That's great. Congratulations, man.
Thank you, Lexis. Thank you.
No, this is totally amazing. MD of Lagoon Bar. How do you feel about that? Of Labadi Beach Hotel after Lagoon Bar? I mean, look at that. Of Labadi Beach Hotel. Yes. How do you feel about that?
The feeling is good, especially knowing what you have put into the business and, of course, the love for it. So it makes it very heartwarming.
Yeah.
You feel good about it. That your efforts have been recognized.
That's awesome.
It's amazing.
And you've made history as the first ever Ghanaian managing director of a five-star hotel in Ghana.
Yeah, that's
true. Huge.
Yeah, it's by God's grace. It's God's grace, yeah.
I know a lot of great Ghanaian professionals in the hospitality industry. So why has it taken this long to have a Ghanaian head of five-star hotel?
Lexis, the industry is young in Ghana. It's not an industry that has been around for a very long time. We're now growing. It's still growing, and it's evolving over the period. The expertise, we believe, way back, has to come from Europe and elsewhere. That has always been the trend. So you find out that most hotels, especially the 4 to 5 star category, expatriates are employed. Even to the extent that some hotels have front office managers as expatriates. And it has been the trend over the years. Labadi Beach Hotel was built in 1991. So since 1991, well, we have been the first, or we were the first five-star hotel in Ghana. So since that period, it's always been expatriates for the top positions in the hotel industry for the 4 to 5 star categories.
I see.
Yes, it has always been the case.
And 32 years later,
Yep,
we have a Ghanaian.
we've changed the narrative.
That's beautiful. That's
Of course, it's
awesome.
always good to change the narrative.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Ghanaians are capable.
No, I mean this is a big one, and I think you're the right one for it as well, because you've been through the ranks. You've been through the mill and held almost all the positions in the hotel, and you know in and out. You're actually how many years at Labadi now?
Lexis, in July, 1st of July, I'll be 31 years in Labadi.
Wow. You've spent 31 years at Labadi Beach Hotel.
Correct. 1st of July, this year.
This is amazing. Talk of loyalty.
Exactly so.
Is it just the ocean you love to see, or what is it?
I love nature,
Mm-hmm.
and the environment in Labadi gives me that joy. There's job satisfaction, and I enjoy what I do. You know, when you have job satisfaction and you enjoy what you do, money is good, but it's not the end to everything.
Right.
All right. So for me, I enjoy what I do, and I love the ambience in Labadi Beach Hotel. I love nature, the ocean, the greens, the lagoon.
Yeah.
It calms me. I just love it. And you know, most hotels are in one building.
Yeah.
Labadi is spread out beautifully, and it's an environment that you don't get tired of. You know.
And rightly so, because one of the things that I've always wanted to ask you is what your job description and the timing of your job is. Because, look, we're there at the Lagoon Bar with you till like midnight on Friday night.
Yeah.
Yeah? Sometimes
1 a.m.
1 a.m. What, and you're still there.
Yeah.
Sometimes Saturday morning I'll probably come for breakfast and you're there.
Correct.
Sunday sometimes I'll come play tennis in the afternoon and
Yeah.
you're there. And I'm like, wait, David, wait, do you work from Monday to Sunday, Sunday to Sunday? What's your schedule like? Why are you always there? If you are not there, the hotel can't run.
No, it can run, and it's not just me. It's look, the staff of Labadi Beach Hotel are awesome. I'm not the only one who does that.
Right.
From the doorman to the MD, I mean, everybody in Labadi is so committed. It's so heartwarming to see that kind of environment that you work in. It's like family.
Yeah.
You know, so people are committed, and people stay on to do double shift to make sure the guests are satisfied.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like you just stay for staying sake, or you come around because the job cannot be done. But you love what you do.
Right.
You love to be around, and it's just a joy to see that work is going on well, and that's it. It's not about if you're not there, it doesn't work. If you're not there, it still will work, because the guys at Labadi are one of the best I've ever seen.
Look, I mean, if somebody didn't need to tell me this, I am actually a first-hand witness to what you're talking about. The commitment is on another level, and you lead the pack, so I'll give it to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations again.
Thank
if
you.
you're just joining in, this is Personality Profile, and I'm spending time with Mr. David Eduaful, who's the MD of Labadi Beach Hotel. We'll get to talk about work, but let's get to know you a bit first. Eduaful, Mr. David Eduaful. Where are you from? Where did you hail from? Where were you born? Share with us a bit about you growing up.
All right, so David Ato Kwamina Eduaful was born in Akimoda in the Eastern region.
To your chini.
Me chini, 50-50. My mother is from Jamestown.
Oh, sir.
She's called Augustina Oyokote.
Uh-huh.
And my father, late, he is from Gomade Rampon
Oh, I see.
in the Central region. So I'm in between, let's say, two coastal people.
Yeah.
You know, so when you see some concert around me, don't be surprised. The Jamestown and then the Fanti line.
It's a serious mix.
So it's a serious mix. It's a serious mix. So I grew up in Akimoda, And I came to Accra when I was about 8 years old.
Okay.
Yes. Lived somewhere in.
What did your parents do? What were they?
My mother was working at GNTC at the time. She GNTC Motors.
Okay.
At the time, she was the PA to the, or those days they called them secretaries. She was secretary to the general manager of the Motors division.
Okay.
I still remember his name. I don't know if he's alive. It's called Yeboah Mensah.
Oh, okay.
I will not forget that, because anytime I visit my mother in the office, I love the smell in the office, that ambience.
Yeah.
It smells fresh. I was a small boy and I was enjoying that.
Wow.
Yeah, so I still remember.
I see.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And
My father, well, not too close to him, so I'm not too sure what he was doing at the time. My mother was a single parent, so.
I see. I mean, I was just about to talk about Father's Day with you, but it looks like you would want to skip that conversation.
Oh no, I can talk about myself, but not,
Not your father.
because it's late anyway,
Yes,
so there's nothing
anyway.
much to talk about.
I understand.
Yeah.
But how was it like growing up with a single parent?
Okay, so my grandmother was the one that I grew up with at Akemoda before I came to Accra.
Okay.
And my grandmother to join my mother here.
Okay.
We all moved from Akemoda back to Accra here, so we were living at Ayalolo back in the days. That was around 78. And my grandmother had a twin sister who used to be a Mokola woman at the time, the Mokola number 1.
Okay.
So, well, there I started school at Sempe 1 and 2 before I moved to Datus Complex Schools.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
in Bubuashi.
Yeah.
And it's a long story, but at the time we were in Ayalolo, I used to sell paperback for my grandmother at Mokola number 1 market.
Oh, wow.
And it was very interesting.
How old were you at the time?
I was around 8 years.
Okay.
Very short, and we used to also sell ice water.
Okay.
Those days, ice water was sold in this silver bowls. You have to polish them.
Yeah.
1 cup for everybody.
Yes, yes.
Some silver
Had the
cup.
caps on it.
I'm
when somebody
telling you,
buys-
some
yeah,
silver cup, and you have to polish those silver cups.
And the water is in the bowl
Yeah.
with ice cubes.
Ice cubes. And
Yeah.
you sprinkle the water on the bowl, on the silver bowl, so it looks fresh.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was doing that for my grandmother while still schooling at Sempe. And then sometimes, occasionally, they would give us ice cream to go and sell. Quite a number of things that we're doing to survive. My mother was then living in Bema Camp.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how was it like growing up without a father? Do you think there might have been a little bit of a difference if there was a father in the picture?
Lexis, I was living in a family home where there was everybody. I had uncles, I had aunties, and my grandfather was around, my grandmother was around, except my mother who was in Accra at the time working. So I didn't feel it much. I thought my grandmother and my grandfather were my parents at the time.
Okay.
I wasn't too close to my mother then because she was in Accra working and I was in Akemoda with my grandmother.
Yeah.
And I had aunties and uncles who were almost my age. So I saw them as my peers,
Yeah.
like my siblings, but they were my aunties and my uncles at the time. And there was nothing that I didn't miss anything. It would have been nice, but I didn't miss anything because of that kind of family relationship that I had with my aunties and uncles.
Yeah.
That was in Akemoda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
Now, at that age, what did you want to be in future?
interesting, eh? Let me tell you one thing, Leslie. When I was young, all that I thought of was for God to help me to grow up and get money to buy a car and build a house.
That was
It was my prayer. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I just want to get money and build a house and buy a car.
Buy a car.
And if you put food in front of me, I'll just have the same prayer every day.
Wow.
I'm going to sleep. We're taught to pray when we're going to sleep.
Yeah.
We're taught to pray when you have food in front of you. So I'll pray that God should make me get money, build a house, and buy a car for myself without knowing what I was going to do.
Wow.
So
there was not a certain career path that really.
at that,
Yeah.
I mean, at that age, no. It's only where I grew up and I came to Accra, and of course, I started thinking about what to do.
Yeah.
Yes, and I really loved to see the guys in the banks at the time, so
Yeah.
I started focusing on that when I was growing up. At one point, I started loving politics.
Oh, was it?
I'm telling you, I have a mix of things.
Wow.
Yeah. When
What,
I
you
was,
wanted to get into active politics?
I loved it. I loved it. I loved the the political things that I was learning in school. Yes, I did government at a point in Accra. So I had a mixture of things that I wanted to do.
But is the politics something that you still, would want to get into at some point?
Now it's late.
It's too late?
It's too late.
Why is it late?
I'm an old man now.
Are you serious? Come on, David. Come on, David. I mean, do you know how old our president is? Coincidentally,
No, seriously,
I just got a message from your MP.
Yes.
Lexis, tell my constituent that his member of parliament, Honorable Alexander Akwesi Akwa, is listening to him, and I'm proud of him.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you,
Honorable
Alex.
just sent me a message to let you know that he's listening to you and he's proud of you.
Thank you.
So
thank
maybe you should visit Honorable.
I'll do that.
Have a conversation. Maybe
Of course.
you could be the next member.
Well, I tried actually when I was in Central University. Let me digress a bit. When I
Okay.
was in Central University, I tried. I wrote a letter to the school that I wanted to form TESCON. Yeah, but I was turned down by Dr. Mensa Otabel. I had a letter that the school doesn't, do that.
Wow.
So I went far. I wanted to. I was really eager to go into politics.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that was the more reason why
Yeah.
I studied government when I
Yeah.
was in the sixth form.
in the
Yeah,
sixth
I did
form.
government for a while. Yeah.
Interesting. That's a very interesting story. Anyway, let's talk about schooling days. Now you're in school. You're trying to figure out your life. You're in Accra now.
Yep.
You attended Accra Academy.
Yeah.
And you did government and what?
Well, so I did business. I had to now go into mainstream. So
Yeah.
I did business when I was in Accra. Government was on the side.
Yeah.
So I did business. So I did business in A levels, and that is what I ended with as my A level, main course. I did accounting, all the business subjects.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did all those things.
I see.
Yeah, but prior to that, I went to Datus.
Yeah.
And from the same pay, my mother moved me to Datus.
Okay.
Yeah, that was where I had my common entrance in 1984, and I joined Accra Academy from
Right.
1984 to 1989 for my O levels, and then I did my A levels in 1991.
How was life in Accra?
Man, it's one of the best schools that you can talk of in this country. Yeah. I loved it. I was in the school before I even started the school, because my uncle was a teacher. He was a music teacher,
Oh, I see.
and they used to call him Knee-Boy.
Yeah.
So I was, those days, I think they still have, the masters have their bungalows.
Yeah.
So I was staying in his bungalow at the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And whilst schooling in Datus.
Yeah.
And I had to even run away twice because I didn't understand why I have to live like a house help at the time to my uncle.
So you ran away?
I ran away twice. I had to run away. I went back to my mother. I said I can't live with him. And they brought me back to stay with him. I was young. I was 12 years at the time. And the conditions were not so conducive. And you had to do things. 12 years, I have to start cooking for my uncle.
Wow.
Yeah, I lived with my uncle and I had to cook for him. I had to go to the market. 12 years, I had to start cooking. Wash things, do everything that you have to do. He was not married, so I was doing everything for him. No, it was tough. It was tough at the time, but I learned a lot. Living there taught me a lot of things. It toughened me, and I became like self-sufficient.
Okay.
I didn't rely on anybody for anything.
Mm-hmm.
I do everything myself. It's molded me.
Mm-hmm.
12 years, you go to markets, you buy foodstuffs. The market women all knew me. Because when I go, I had to make sure that I beat the prices down.
Bargain.
And then I pocket the balance. Mama leave, my friend. Mama leave.
Chobo.
Well, it wasn't chobo, it was survival.
Oh, survivor.
Yeah, I had to survive. I had to make sure that the prices were beaten down because they will write a list for you.
Yeah.
You will write a list for you, the things we're going to buy.
I see.
So if you go to the market, you make an effort to make sure that well, it was my way of also surviving at the time. That was 12 years, and I moved on. So I stayed on. The second time when I was brought back, I had to stay on. I said, okay, now this is a place that I have to stay.
But when you ran away, did your uncle know that you ran away because of that?
Yes, I went to tell my mother that I was suffering. I was doing so much. Sweeping the place, cleaning, washing, cooking. Why? I was tired. Yeah, so eventually I had to decide what to do. So I stayed on. Okay. And I finished my common entrance. And of course, God helped me. I did very well. And I got Accra Academy.
Okay.
One touch.
Yeah.
Without his involvement, just my regular efforts, yes.
Yeah.
And so I still stayed with him when I came to Form 1 in Accra Academy.
Yeah.
I stayed with him till Form 5. Now I had grown, so of course I understand, so I can manage.
Yeah.
And even then I was still doing what I was doing before. I would still go to the market and cook for him, but this time it was mellowed, and breeding ducks and things like that, Yeah, so no, I was so my colleagues or my mates, when they were passing, the bungalow was right in front of the school gate, the first one. So when they are passing to school, they see me, taking care of the dokodokos, and so they used to call me Ato Dokodoko.
Oh my goodness!
It was interesting way back in school. I remember one time, it was hard, so we had to. And there were other students also in his bungalow.
Okay.
So we strategized. We said, okay, we've been breeding these dokodokos for long, and we don't get some to eat. So the man said he was traveling. I think we used to kill one or two sometimes, and then we find a way of. We'll find a story to tell him.
Some nice stew.
Boys. So one day the man said he was going to Winneba. We said, yeah, we're happy. Charlie. Then I made the operation. I was the leader. We killed one duck. And then I went to the market to buy some foodstuffs and things to prepare palm granule soup with the doko. We're in the process of pounding the fufu, and then this man came back. Man, Lexis, that was one of the days that I wish the ground would open for me to enter. So the man thought, oh, I see. So you guys, this is what you've been doing when I'm not around. No, but it was fun. It was
I can imagine. Okay, anyway. So now you're out of school. You're probably looking at a tertiary institution. Where did you school?
Well, okay, so I did my sixth form as well in Accra Academy. And then whilst in sixth form, this is where my interest in hotels started. Whilst at sixth form, I had a cousin who was working at Novotel at the time. And Novotel was new. Now it's called Accra City.
Yes.
And I visited him once, and I just loved the place. I fell in love with the place, and I said, well, if you get a job for me, let me know. I was still in school, but I went to do my national service after. And within the period that I was doing my national service, I visited him again, and he said, okay, if you still insist that you want to do this. At the time, he had moved to Labadi Beach Hotel.
Okay.
So he told me of an opening as a night auditor.
At Labadi?
Yes. And I had not finished my national service. So I was wondering how I was going to manage. But God being so good, I was able to manage it. And then I got a job as a night auditor at Labadi Beach Hotel. So I didn't start tertiary after A-levels. I went straight to the job market because I got a job whilst I was doing my national service. So, and if you're in YESA, so you don't know how you're going to go to the tertiary. And so I embraced the job opportunity at Labadi Beach Hotel in 1992. At the time, yes. Yeah. So straight from national service, I went straight to the job market.
And night auditor?
I was a night auditor at the time.
And what were you supposed to do?
I was supposed to audit the daily sales and everything, including the rooms. You charge overnight. So it has to do with the totality of the revenue that is generated in the hotel. That has to do with rooms, that has to do with food and beverage. Every revenue center, you audit it, you go through. And with my background as an accounting student, it helped me because I had the background of an accounting student. I did business in Accra, way back in Accra. So that helped me to develop the skills to go through that night audit period.
Okay, so now that you started this job, what really got you excited about the job?
Lexis is the people-centered. Hospitality is people-centered. You meet people. You deal with different people from different background. And it was something that I loved to do. I love to meet people. I love to do, more or less to talk to people. And I got that excitement and motivation from the hotel environment.
I see.
So I thought to myself, perhaps I'll do for a few years and then go back to the university. But that didn't happen. I fell in love with it and I continued.
Wow. What were the challenges, let's say, when you started, in this hotel industry, and you started a job at Labadi? What are some of the challenges?
It's something that I love to talk about. I had a lot of challenges when I started. I started in 92, and in 93, I had a very serious challenge, which nearly cost me my job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was young, and I didn't know much. And at the time, if you're a night auditor, when the Forest Bureau was closed, you take over from them. Because we ran a 24-hour operation. So I took over from the Forest Bureau because I come on the night shift at 11 p.m. And in the middle of the night, one guy came to change money, 50 pounds, I remember. So I showed it to my boss at the time, and they said, okay, it's fine. Go ahead to change it for him. I was just about a year or less in Labadi Beach Hotel. So I went ahead to change for this man. And interestingly, he came back with 500 pounds more to change.
Oh, I see.
And I thought I was working. I was excited. I said, okay, well, the first one was okay, so let me change the rest for him. So naive. So I changed 550 pounds on the night for that man. And that at the time was 467,500 cedis, old Ghana cedis. Now I think it's about...
You make it sound so huge. Just 460 what?
467,500.
So that will be about...
I will never forget.
Now it will be about what?
Now it's about 46 cedis.
46 cedis. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, because my salary at the time was, I think, 45 cedis.
Your salary was 45 cedis at the time?
Yeah. So I changed this money, excited that I've done some work for the night, and I was very happy. The following morning, when the Forest Bureau operator came to take over, they said the money was fake.
Wow.
Man, I didn't know what to do.
Fake currency?
Yes, so this was reported to our head of security. And investigation started. It was a tough time for me. Let me cut it short. I was suspended because at that time, you've changed fake currency. I should have been fired. Yeah. But I was suspended because my work, at the time speaks for itself. So suspension without pay, pending investigations. And I came back, and my general manager at the time, an expatriate, he said I had to pay the money back to the hotel. And how am I supposed to pay? I earned 45 cedis.
Is more than your salary.
Yeah. So he gave me the opportunity to do other jobs.
Okay.
So when I close from the night shift, I'll do other jobs. I'll go to the stores, clear everything, redo things, work in minibar, working, what is it called, cost control, so many things. Go to the archives, go and rearrange things there, do things correctly,
Just to make up
just to
for the
make
money
money.
you,
So
you,
they'll
you
pay me
lost.
additional money to defray some of the you know the costs that I've cost to the hotel. So I did that for about a year. And then one day, because this case was also reported to police, one day the police called the hotel that they've arrested somebody who fits the description of what I went to complain about. And so the police invited me to police headquarters. I remember this. And I went there and I identified the guy, and he confessed. I was the only one. Apparently, he had done that to a lot of people in the industry. He's gone to several places. He's gone to Shangri-La at the time. He's gone to change money, fake money. That was what he used to do.
Wow.
I didn't know. So he confessed, and he said he was going to pay back
Yeah.
the money. So I was vindicated.
Wow.
He paid back everything, and it was a joy for
I
me
can
to.
imagine.
So you can imagine that I would have been fired,
Yeah.
and yet it wasn't my fault.
Yes.
But I learned
Yeah.
from that singular incident, you know. And there was a turning point in my life. I mean, I got promoted to assistant night manager within that period, you know. So
That's interesting. Yeah. And you've held various positions in the hotel. Which other positions have you held?
so from the night auditor, I was promoted to assistant night manager. So with that, I have control over everybody in the hotel in the night, on the
Okay.
night shift. You know, we run 24-hour service.
Yeah.
So I control the security, I control the kitchen, I control whoever works in the night.
Okay.
I was Ogboro. That is, if my night manager was not on duty and I'm on duty, I control everybody.
Right.
So I was enjoying it. I did that for 2 years. So 1992 to 1993, I was a night auditor. And then 93 to 95, I was assistant night manager. And that was where I was called by my boss, who was an expatriate. He was a house manager. It's called John Seeger. He called me to his office one day. He said, "Look, young man, you have so much potential, but you are working in a department that nobody sees you. In the night, nobody will see what you do, and so they will not appreciate you. But what you do, you deserve to be seen because you work so hard." You know, I was the type that nothing was difficult for me to do. Sometimes I come to work and, you know, maybe somebody falls sick and doesn't come on the shift. I will stay on and do that person's shift. So all this was going on, and not knowing my boss was looking at me and was enjoying what I was doing and realized that I had a potential. So he called me and said to me, "David, I'll have to bring you to the daytime. I mean, the day shift. But the only position I have is a shift leader. And
That's
that
like
means
a demotion.
a demotion. So that means I will have to be demoted from assistant night manager to shift leader. And guess what? My salary would also be reduced because being an assistant night manager, I was getting all the perks
Yeah.
in the night.
Yeah.
I mean, for working in the night, the night allowances and all those things. It was a tough decision for me to make. But he made an analogy. He said, "David, if you are standing on a mountain and you see another higher mountain, what would you do? If you want to climb that mountain, what would you do?" So I looked at him and I said, "I have to come down where I'm standing before I can climb the higher one." He said, "Okay, this is exactly what I want you to do, and this is exactly what you're going to do."
Wow.
So I had to come down
Yeah.
from assistant night manager to become a shift leader because he wanted to bring me to the daytime so that my work will be seen because I had potential.
Yeah.
Because when you are in the night, you may not get that traction, or let's say
Yeah.
the opportunity to other departments. But in the daytime, you have a better opportunity of being promoted to other department.
see.
So I took up the challenge. My salary was reduced. My position was also reduced. And I became a shift leader. But I was enjoying it. It was painful. But I still had to move on. And then within that period, I did that for some time. And in 97, I got approached by my general manager at the time, also an expatriate. He said, look, young man, you work so well, and I like your human relations. I want you to be a guest relations, manager. So I moved on from shift leader to guest relations manager. I did that for 1 year. That's for 96 to 98. And the journey is so interesting and very challenging for me. So we had a general manager at the time, also from Europe. And there was an opening as a sales executive. And he has also observed how I work. And he called me to the restaurant, the Aquaba restaurant. Crossed his legs. I will always remember this. Crossed his legs. And had a chat with me. That he wants me to go to sales and marketing, or sales to head, not to head, to be part of the sales team, the sales executive. And would I take it? He said, okay, I won't push you. Go and think about it. And come and give me an answer.
So he didn't have any sales experience?
I didn't have any sales experience. But he just loved the way I interact and the way I work. He felt that I have the ability, or let's say everything to do with sales. So I went to sales. I moved from guest relations to sales executive. I did that for 2 years. So that was from 98 to 2000.
Okay.
Then, of course, with my background in rooms division, that is night audit, front office, shift leader, we call it rooms divisions. There was an opening as an assistant house manager.
Okay.
And I was approached again. You know this, I don't go fight for it. They come to me because they see what I do. And these are all expatriates. So I was invited by my general manager at the time. And I said, okay, I'll give it a try, especially with my background in night audit and shift leader. So I became assistant house manager.
Okay.
And I did that for a year. And then the house manager, who was also an expatriate, left, resigned.
And you got that job?
I'm coming to that. So I wasn't too experienced, but with my determination, I said, I will do it. So I did the assistant night house manager for 5 years, assisting no one, because at the time they wanted to bring an expatriate to head the same position, but they could not. If I say I'm talking management, the expatriate managers, they couldn't bring somebody because the guy was doing the job and doing it even better.
Wow.
So I was maintained. And in 2005, I was made a substantive house manager. So I was the first Ghanaian house manager of a 5-star hotel in Ghana. I was the first Ghanaian.
You keep breaking all the records.
Yeah. I was the first because it has always been for expatriates.
Okay.
So at the time, I did that for 17 years. That was the longest position I held in the hotel. I did that for 17 years, and that was up to 2018. While still working in sales, and I was schooling at the same time. If I say sales, I was helping out on the sales department while still doing the house manager job. And schooling, because I had to go back to school. I had to go back to Central University, finish that. I had to go to Legon to do my master's.
Right.
So I was working as house manager and schooling at the same time.
Must be tough.
It was very tough. So the journey has not been that smooth. Obviously. But of course, with determination and the interest. And of course, if you love what you do, you will always go far. And I do it with joy.
Yes. And now look at you. You are the managing director. What a story. It's a beautiful story. I got to be honest with you. And I'm seeing lots of messages from friends and family on our WhatsApp number 055 Congratulations, Mr. David Eduaful. Greetings from Cecilia MFA Kege. All right. Thank
She
you
used
so
to
much.
be our deputy executive sous chef.
Oh, right. Okay, nice. And then I got a message as well from Shine Tosu. Shine says, David is my man, very humble and a solid leader. Salute him for me. Okay, I mean, Labadi Beach Hotel has maintained its leadership in the industry.
Yep.
What do you think has kept Labadi at the top?
Right. So I said from the beginning, the staff of Labadi are just awesome. They love what they do. They are so dedicated to what they do. And for me, in our industry, you may have a beautiful building and all the facilities, but if the human factor or the people working there are not dedicated and don't give that customer service that is needed, nobody will come to your property. And with the experienced staff that Labadi has, it's cuts across all the departments. And so that property, I would say, is a vintage property. It's a solid property with experienced staff. The average length of service in Labadi Beach Hotel is about 15 years. Average length of service.
Wow.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
So before COVID, the tourism and hospitality industry saw a very significant boost in fortunes, especially in Ghana. I mean, we saw an increase in international visitors as a result of the 2019 year of return. And it actually resulted in a growth or swell of 18% in international arrivals from the Americas, Great Britain, the Caribbean, and even increased total arrivals by 45% compared to the previous year. That's according to a Convert report that I was reading earlier this week. Let's talk about the impact of that year of return on your industry before we look at post-COVID.
Year of return is one of the best things that the tourism ministry has ever come up with. It's I would say it's the best so far. It's really ignited the industry. 2019 was one of the best years in our business in terms of visits.
Right.
And it happened in December. And the turnaround or the turning point was from there.
Wow.
Until COVID came in.
Did it affect you more?
It did. We closed down for a while, up to June. We
Were
came back.
jobs affected?
Not in Labadi Beach Hotel. We did not lay anybody off.
Are you
Labadi.
serious?
I'm
In
100%
COVID?
serious. In
When
COVID
Ghana
time,
was locked down.
we did not. That's one good thing about Labadi Beach Hotel.
Wow. That's
We did
impressive.
not. We did not lay one person off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yes. We were closed for 3 months, but we came back strongly. We came back strongly. We introduced staycation. And Ghanaians given the opportunity would patronize their own. And that was where we realized that people really want to have a feel of what is in Ghana. Instead of traveling out of the country, they were now staying in hotels to have their vacations.
Yeah.
So staycation, because you couldn't go out, COVID was there. So staycation became one of our saving grace
Right.
in Labadi Beach Hotel.
Right.
We have the leisure ambience.
Yes,
We combine
absolutely.
both business and leisure. So it gives people the opportunity instead of going. So we had a lot of Ghanaians staying with us. Our Ghanaian business ratings went very high during that period.
Yeah.
The patronage of Ghanaians, and I doff my hat for my Ghanaian fellows.
Yes.
I mean, they patronize Labadi Beach Hotel.
That's really
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
And I'm sure post-COVID, it's gotten better.
It's gotten better, and it's the best we've ever had in the industry, entire industry. Tourism has really, or let's say the tour groups has started again.
Okay.
It died down in the late 90s, but because of the year of return and beyond the return, now we have tours coming back, and all the tour operators are having a good time this time
Okay.
in our industry.
Look,
and of course, the hotels as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've spoken to a lot of people who travel frequently, and one of the things that they mention is generally the prices of hotels in Ghana are quite high compared to other countries in the sub-region. Is this something you agree with? And
do
why is this so?
agree. It's a yes and no, but of course, the yes meaning cost of business in this part of the world is very high, and you cannot absorb everything. The consumer must pay for some. We pay 22% taxes. We cannot absorb. You import our beef. We import everything. If you want quality, you have to import everything. We import even toothpick. We import everything for our business. It's a very tough time. Or it's a tough industry to be in if you want the quality.
You import toothpick?
It's imported. Every toothpick is not manufactured in Ghana. Have you seen any? I don't know yet, but what we get is all imported.
Isn't that sad?
Well, Lexis.
Oh, that's a different conversation.
That's a different conversation. But what I can say, linen. We deal with linen, and we have to import all these things. Elsewhere, for instance, in South Africa, in Kenya, they produce their own things. So the export bit is softened for them, so they can afford to have reduced rates. But in Ghana here, it's difficult to have reduced rates because the cost of business is very high in our industry.
David, if I started a company that produces toothpick in Ghana, would you patronize it?
Why not? All my amenities in the rooms are made in Ghana. I'm trying to promote made in Ghana.
That's great.
I believe in the Ghanaian agenda. I'm a typical Ghanaian.
I need to.
So all my amenities in terms of soap, the Alata seminar, the Nkuto, one lady who does them, they produce. That's what we use in our rooms, and my guests love them.
End this conversation early so that I start working on the factory.
Well, no, if the quality is good, why not?
Yeah.
We want the quality because
you would be brave. We'll get quality toothpick here in Ghana. This is not fair. Anyway, I've got two amazing people who want to just say something briefly about you. Nana Poku is on the line. Hello, Nana.
Lexis.
Yes, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Nice. You're live on air. I'm here with David.
David, Formula One.
Hey, Nana.
Formula One. Mr. Eduaful.
Yes, sir.
I know you want to say something briefly. Let's hear you, David.
Lexis, I'm telling you, this man, everybody has to get to know David. Everybody needs a David Eduaful in their life. I'm telling you. When we started this journey and we approached David, he was one of the first people who looked at us and said, this is something we want the hotel to be involved in because our guests are very cosmopolitan and sophisticated. So, Charlie, they need events like these. And he embraced us. He took us in, and we've been partners for, David, I think about 3 or 4 years. 3 years?
Yeah, about 4 years.
About.
Yeah.
And it's been an amazing ride. I'm telling you, you know what he said about COVID? When COVID happened and even Formula One globally went off and came back, and we told David that, do you think we can do this thing at the hotel again and bring our guests back? David, first thing he said was that, look, we have everything in place, come back.
Wow.
And we went back there, and it was just amazing. The COVID protocols, Labadi was like the place to be during the heat of the COVID-19 pandemic. And he embraced us, he took us back, and it's been a partnership that has been going on and still going on. And David will take part in our events. He's a motorsport fan.
Yeah.
He will come. He will give us all the support. And Friday night, he will call us and say, come back to Lagumba and come and have some fun.
Because DJ Black has said there.
So,
Nana, thank you so much.
He's an amazing gentleman. Mr. Eduaful deserves everything that is coming his way. I'm telling you, 100% and more.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful
Some of us
that
know him
you called in.
Beyond Formula One and beyond Labadi Beach Hotel. And we can testify that this man, everybody needs him in their life.
Awesome. Thank you so
David
much,
Eduaful,
Nana.
congratulations.
Thank you, Nana.
Let me talk to Mrs. Selina Aite, who's a former executive.
Oh my God, that was our first executive housekeeper.
Yes, she's on the line. Hello, Mrs. Aite.
Hello.
You're welcome. How are you?
Fine, thank you. And you?
I'm very well, thank you. You're live on air, and Mr. David Eduaful is here. Tell us something briefly.
My favorite boss. He knows it. That's what I call him. I've known him since he started with Labadi Beach Hotel. He's a man of integrity, principles, and that's what has made him to be where he is. And I hope that he doesn't go back. He doesn't, he just stays the way he is, focused. I've always said he's going to be the boss.
Right.
He knows it. I call his wife my first lady.
Wow.
Yes, we've
That's
worked,
so nice.
and he works so hard. Principles, I would say. Yes.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Selina Aite, former executive housekeeper of Labadi Beach Hotel. We're grateful that you also called in as well. Bertha from Tema says, how I wish I know this man. I'm learning so much. He's so hardworking and courageous. God bless him. David, you've earned your flowers.
Thank you.
I got a message also from Elidora Matubanzila as well, who says, oh, he's so inspiring. He always said, he's always sharing encouraging words. Oh, there you go. So that's Elidora Matubanzila.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Elidora.
Yeah.
As we wrap up, what has this life journey taught you?
To be humble. It's taught me to be humble, to be hardworking, and whatever you do it to the best of your ability, and wherever you are, you'll be seen. If I did not love my job and do it with all my heart, I don't think I would have been where I'll be where I am today. So I think it's important that as humans or as Ghanaians, we got to believe in ourselves. And I always remember this quote. Tomiana Forson, when he was on Joy those days, he said, if you have no confidence in life, you are twice defeated in the race of life. But with confidence, you have won even before you have started.
Wow.
So it's always important that we believe in ourselves and have that confidence. And once you do that, and you do whatever you do well with all your heart, certainly the light will shine on you. And of course, with humility. Because, hey, humility is important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Confucius says what? Choose a job you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life. And I think that you epitomize that perfectly. God bless you and congratulations on all that you've achieved. And this is actually, for me, the beginning of higher things.
Of course.
I'm sure there are greater things.
Certainly. And watch this space, and I entreat all Ghanaians to patronize Labadi to see what Labadi is and what Labadi has got into, where Labadi has got into. You know, we are like wine, red wine.
Gets better with
age.
age.
Get better with age.
Yeah. To the team at Labadi, Mr. Georgia EC, and your crew, please, my regards to Chef Gary Lane as well, and the team in the kitchen.
Chef is back in Cape Town.
Oh, he's
at
back
the
in Cape
moment.
Town. Okay,
so we have Chef Akwete in.
Oh, nice.
In
nice.
there.
I need to meet him then. You need to introduce me to him.
Chef Akwete is an awesome chef, and you love to meet Chef Akwete.
Awesome. Well, your girls say they are coming to celebrate with you tomorrow at the Lagoon Bar.
They
Marilyn and Janet and Kiki. Thank you so much.
Thank you too, Lexis, and thank you for having me.
I'm Lexis Bill. It's been Personality Profile with the MD of Labadi Beach Hotel, Mr. David Eduaful. Uncle Ken will be on your radio right after the news at 8 o'clock.